So that being permanent, we should not attach to it, because very soon it will disappear. 22.22 at Savatthi, there the Blessed One said, monks, I will teach you the burden, the carrier of the burden, the taking up of the burden, and the laying down of the burden. Listen to that. And what, monks, is the burden? It should be said, the 5 aggregates of clinging, of attachment. What 5? The 4 of body aggregate, yes, is subject to clinging or of attachment. The feeling aggregate of attachment. The perception, volition and consciousness aggregates of attachment. This is called the burden. Stop here for a moment. These aggregates are called Khandha. 5 aggregates. And normally we refer to them as Pancha Upadana Khandha. The 5 aggregates of attachment. 5 aggregates of attachment. 5 aggregates of attachment. These 3 words are 5 aggregates attachment. The most important is the word attachment. It is because of attachment that suffering arises. If there is no attachment to the aggregates, then there is no suffering. If we behave like the tree is not attached to its body, the tree is not attached to its leaf, to its fruit and all that, so the tree does not suffer. But we are attached to our head, to our nose, to our fingers, to all the parts of us which are impermanent. So the suffering comes about because of attachment. So these 5 aggregates are a burden. When you have the 5 aggregates, you are carrying a burden. We are carrying the burden of this body and the mind. So the burden is the 5 aggregates, the body and the mind. And what, monks, is the carrier of the burden? It should be said, the person, this venerable one of such a name and clan. This is called the carrier of the burden. And stop here for the moment. The carrier of the burden is the person. Who is this person? This person is the fellow who thinks, I am, I exist, I am this body, I am this mind. Once you have that I, then you think that you are a being in the world. So you think that you exist in the world. So when you think you exist, you have the notion that you exist because of the body and the mind. You take the body and the mind to be you. So the moment you think I exist, you carry the burden of this body and mind. And what, monks, is the taking up of the burden? It is this craving that leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there. That is, craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for non-existence. This is called the taking up of the burden. So, stop here for a moment. So, we take up the burden when we have craving. This craving is seeking delight here, seeking delight there. You see, most people in the world, they live their lives like that. Always trying to find enjoyment and happiness. Watching TV, playing with the computer, going touring overseas, trying to buy a big Porsche or Maserati sports car and all this. So always trying to find happiness here, happiness there. But unfortunately, that happiness cannot be satisfied. If you get all the things in the world, you're not contented. You still don't have happiness. That happiness is only momentary. It's not the deep happiness that most people want. So the taking up the burden is due to the craving. And what, monks, is the laying down of the burden? It is the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving, the giving up, the relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. This is called the laying down of the burden. This is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the fortunate one, the teacher, further said, the 5 aggregates are truly burdens. The burden carrier is the person. Taking up the burden is suffering in the world. Laying the burden down is blissful. Having laid the heavy burden down without taking up another burden, having drawn out craving with its root, one is free from hunger, fully quenched. This last part, the few verses, sometimes we chant at night. The one Vihara, Pancha, Khandha and all that. So, because of craving, we take this body and the mind to be the self, so that we can enjoy life. We think this body and this mind gives us enjoyment. That's only when we decide, after a lot of suffering, we decide to put down this burden, put down this craving, then only we lay down the burden. 22.26 at Savatthi. Monks, before my enlightenment, while I was still a bodhisattva, not yet fully enlightened, it occurred to me, what is the gratification, what is the danger, what is the escape in the case of form or body? What is the gratification, what is the danger, what is the escape in the case of feeling, perception, volition and consciousness? Then monks, it occurred to me, the pleasure and joy that arise in dependence on form or body, that is the gratification in form or body. That body is impermanent, suffering and subject to change. This is the danger in body. The removal and abandonment of desire and lust for body, this is the escape from body. Similarly, the pleasure and joy that arise in dependence on feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, that is the gratification. That the aggregates are impermanent, suffering and subject to change, that is the danger in the aggregates. The removal and abandonment of desire and lust for the aggregates, this is the escape from the aggregates. So long, monks, as I did not directly know as they really are the gratification, the danger and the escape in the case of these 5 aggregates subject to clinging, I did not claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world with its devas, maras and brahmas, in this generation with its ascetics and brahmins, its devas and humans. But when I directly knew all this as it really is, then I claim to have awakened to the unsurpassed perfect enlightenment in this world. The knowledge and vision arose in me. Unshakable is my liberation of mind. This is my last birth. Now there is no more renewed existence. This sutta, there is a more detailed explanation of it, I think in the Majjhima Nikaya. So here the Buddha is saying, what is the gratification, like in the case of body? That means what is the satisfaction in the case of body? Then he says the pleasure and joy that arise in dependence on the body, that is the gratification. So in the other more detailed sutta, it talks about the gratification of body is like because the body gives you pleasure. So they say that imagine a young girl, 15 or 16 years old, in the prime of life, looking at the most beautiful, that is the gratification of form. And what is the danger? The danger is that the same beautiful girl, after a few more years, she's 80 or 90 years old, then you see she's hunchback, all the hair turned white, maybe with a bald patch at the top. The hair also, the teeth also gone, skin wrinkled, and looking so ugly looking. That is the danger of form, the Buddha said. And then another example, the Buddha said, suppose this girl, even before she's old, maybe at the age of 40 years old, she got cancer. And then she's stricken on the bed, cannot help herself, seriously sick with cancer. She's lying on the bed, urinating on the bed, shitting on the bed. She got to be helped up to take her meal. You need people to wash her, clean her, and all that. So that time, she's still that beautiful young girl, no more. So there's again a danger. Or the Buddha said, after some time, she will die. And then if she's 3 or 4 days dead, the body will be bloated, blue-black, smelly, and all the liquids oozing out from the nose, from the ears, from the eyes, from the mouth, from the anus and all that. And she's still that beautiful 16-year-old girl, no more. So very soon, all of us, our body also like that. At one time when you're young, you look beautiful or handsome. As you grow older and older, it becomes more and more ugly. And one day you will become sick and you will die. So that is the danger. So the only escape is to remove the desire and lust for the body. Then only you will not suffer. So similarly for the other aggregates. 22.28 Asavati, the Buddha said, monks, if there were no gratification or satisfaction in body, beings would not become enamored with it. But because there is gratification in body, beings become enamored with it. If there were no danger in body, beings would not experience revulsion towards it. But because there is danger in body, beings experience revulsion towards it. If there were no escape from body, beings would not escape from it. But because there is an escape from body, beings escape from it. Similarly, monks, if there were no gratification in feelings, perception, volition, consciousness, beings would not become enamored with it. But because there is escape, beings escape from it. So long, monks, as beings have not directly known as they really are, the gratification as gratification, the danger as danger, and the escape as escape. In the case of the 5 aggregates subject to clinging, they have not escaped from this world with its devas, Mara and Brahma, from this generation with its ascetics and Brahmins, its devas and humans. They have not become detached from it, released from it, nor do they dwell with a mind rid of barriers. For when beings have directly known all this as it really is, then they have escaped from this world. They have become detached from it, released from it, dwell with a mind rid of barriers. So this sutta is basically, the Buddha is saying, if there was no satisfaction with the body and the mind, then we would not become enslaved, delight in our body and our mind. But because there is gratification or satisfaction or enjoyment to be found with our body and our mind, so we become enslaved by it. But also, if there were no danger in the body and the mind, then we would not experience revulsion towards it. But because there is danger, so one day we wake up and we become we have revulsion towards the body and the mind. All of us in the world, we are like children. Children, when we are young, we are greedy for all the nice things, ice cream, all the things that we can play with and enjoy in the world. But as we grow up slowly, then we find certain things, if we enjoy too much, it makes us sick. For example, we take too much ice cream, we become sick. And all that. We play too much, then we fail in our exam. So slowly we become wise, as they say, become street wise. So